What up, cucks? I just wanted to make a video to discuss one new phenomenon. So on one hand, I'm going to make a video about this specifically, the Cody Crybabies. But on the other hand, it's a similar hand, very similar in their purpose and their appearance. We have the other Crybaby group, the AEW Crybabies. Now, occasionally the boy will make a video about AEW, even though I haven't focused on AEW as much, just because it's so bad that there's no point even watching it. But I watch it here and there, the same way I might watch Raw here and there. I'm not really losing sleep over any of this shit. But the one thing that I've noticed is there are people out there that are so far from the truth, right? And that they will legitimately cry about AEW being labeled as a soft and boring company. Now, I'm not bothered by this. If I make a video on AEW and someone's like, I don't like your opinion, go fuck yourself. Perfectly fine. That's why the comment section exists, cucks. That's why I put it there. It's so people can exchange ideas. But that's not really the point, is it? The real point here is that this group even exists, right? It's these weird apologists that want to defend AEW. And it's bro, no one's actually attacking AEW. I'm just giving my opinions. I don't give a damn. In fact, if it were up to me, AEW would be doing much better, right? Because I like wrestling, so I want both companies to do as well as possible, right? But the truth is the truth. Now these people get offended and they're like, oh, how could anyone say this about AEW? I'm a good wrestling fan. Oh, AEW got Will Ospreay. Who gives a shit about Will Ospreay? Nobody cares about Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay's never going to be like a John Cena level guy, right? And that's what brings me to this point, right? And to the message of this video, which is twofold. One, the AEW Crybabies are annoying. And two, right? Just because someone is considered a good wrestler by the neckbeard community does not mean that they have any of the qualities that are required for someone to be a great wrestler from a business perspective, right? So Will Ospreay is a great example. There's nothing inherently wrong about Will Ospreay, right? He's athletic, he's got a good physique, he's tall, he's from an Anglophone country, so he can cut promos. At least he has the language skills to cut promos. But the truth is, you can cut it any way you want. The truth is, he's just another Nakamura. He's just another, Hideo Itami. He's just another Daniel Bryan. He's just an indie jobber that's never going to be the face of the company, right? And that's fundamentally what this is about. People really think that, oh, this is the best talent in the world. In what world is he the best talent? Nobody cares about the matches. You think, when you watch, WrestleMania, they'll go to celebrities, right? And they'll go to they'll put in they'll be Dwayne Wade, LeBron, I don't know, Jack Nicholson, whatever, right? Who cares? A bunch of different celebrities from different categories of life. But you think they're there to see how well Cody Rhodes does the beautiful disaster kick? No, nobody cares about that. Just if you watch UFC or boxing, right? You go watch a boxing pay-per-view, right? You'll see in the front row, there'll be a bunch of old men and a bunch of very good-looking women, right? And you're wait a second. These women probably don't care about boxing, right? Good-looking women in evening gowns are not known to be boxing fans, right? But they're not there for that. They're there for the show. It's back in the day when the mafia would hang out with young women and they'd go to these they'd watch Frank Sinatra, or they'd watch I don't know, Sammy Davis Jr. and other celebrities of the time, but nobody really cared about the actual act. It was a hang. Right? It's just a hang for these people. They're like, oh, what are we doing today? Let's go watch WrestleMania, right? Because it's a big event. That's what this is all about. Nobody really cares about the actual things that are happening inside the ring, right? People care about the larger-than-life personalities. I can tell you this. Let's just take Dwayne Wade as an example, because it's the first thing I mentioned. When Dwayne Wade goes there to some WrestleMania, and the opening match is Tony Nese versus Mustafa Ali, here's what Dwayne Wade does. He looks at the guy next to him and says, hey, do you know who either of those two fucking guys are? And the guy next to him says, I have no fucking clue, Dwayne, one of his entourage people. And Dwayne Wade says, oh, okay. Then he opens up his phone, and he starts playing Candy Crush or something, right? And he doesn't give a shit about this. Nobody knows who these people are. Nobody cares, right? But when The Rock comes out, Dwayne Wade's oh, shit, it's The Rock. And he probably puts his phone in his pocket. Because he's oh, something big's about to happen. Something entertaining is about to happen. This might also, happen when Stone Cold comes out, when Ronda Rousey debuted. There's a lot of some people that are big time enough that can capture the attention, right? So the idea that the AEW Crybabies have is that Will Ospreay is one such person. Because they always say like, oh, this is like the number one draft pick. He's the best talent in wrestling. He's the best free agent. And it's like, he's absolutely none of those things, because if you put that guy in WrestleMania, when he comes out, people are going to be like, great, on my phone, I'm going to go, right? Logan Paul is like 100 times better draw than Will Ospreay, right? And he'd probably beat his ass. And he's more athletic than Will Ospreay. What do you think of them apples, cucks? So with that being said, we're not looking for athleticism. We're not looking for that, because we got that in spades in people like Ricochet, Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio still, Finn Balor to a certain degree. We had Matt Riddle. They got rid of him, and he's like more athletic than everyone there. But it is what it is. AJ Styles, like there's all these wrestlers that are athletic, but nobody cares about, right? People care more about Hulk Hogan putting his hand to his ear and doing the U and then dropping his leg than they care about like Ricochet doing a 630. Nobody gives a shit about a 630 because we've seen it 100 times. Now, if you're new to wrestling, or if you're like a passive fan, like let's say Dwayne Wade is like, oh shit, that guy's climbing up, like let's see what crazy things he's gonna do. Then he might be like, wow, that was amazing. But that's it. Like, he's not gonna spend any more time discussing that, cucks. And with that being said, the question then becomes, how do we find a new star? Well, according to the AEW Crybabies, AEW is full of good talent. Oh, Swerve Strickland is gonna be a star. What the hell are you people talking about? Swerve Strickland, I will admit, is cooler than a lot of the people in AEW. I'm starting to get it. Like I alluded to in my last video, there was a point, I forget. Oh yeah, here's what happened. Swerve Strickland comes out and he gets interrupted by the Undisputed Kingdom, which literally is 5 dorks. It's like not one of those guys has ever been cool in any capacity, right? They're all losers. They're all dorks. And at the end of the day, Swerve, even though he's kind of a dork, because he's like one of these like wannabe rappers, but he has like no rapping ability. So he's not like the coolest guy in the playground either. But he's way cooler than Roderick Strong and like Matt Taven. You know what I'm saying? Like he's way cooler he's definitely cooler than Adam Cole. So like they got like a horrible promo on him, and he's like, yo, you're all dorks, basically. Like what were the underpinnings of the promo? And it made sense. It's like, yo, like why are you talking to Swerve like you're on the same level of like character or charisma, right? Like Adam Cole is like a 0 in charisma, and Swerve is like a 2, right? So, but by comparison, 2 is infinitely bigger than 0. Now, if you had like Swerve versus and like Bully Ray, and Bully Ray cut a promo, you'd be like, oh, I see now. One is Swerve. He's like basically this complete beta male dork compared to Bully Ray. And one is Bully Ray, who if he wanted to, would beat the hell out of everyone that I just mentioned in the ring for fun, right? That's the difference. You can tell someone that's cool. Like, you can tell, like, that's why the Bully Ray character is so good. I know I'm all over the place in this video, but I don't care. It's my video, cucks. That's why the Bully Ray character was so good. The whole point was like, yo, this is like, you kind of get the feeling this is how Bully Ray is in real life. Like, he's not a nice guy, and he is someone that is a bully, right? And you can tell that he is that way, and he was probably always that way, right? So nobody steps out of line with people like him, right? Just like JBL. Oh, but hater, Joey Styles knocked out JBL. Yeah, I can knock out Mike Tyson if Mike Tyson has had 30 beers, right? But let's be real, Mike Tyson would beat my ass. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, we come full circle to the AEW Crybabies. AEW needs some cool wrestlers. One of the matches was Hook versus Brian Cage. Now, I didn't finish this match because I think I wanted to take a piss or something, and the match ended when I came back. Or something happened. I don't remember who won, basically, right? Doesn't really matter, but I'm going to assume that Hook won. I have a feeling that Hook won. It's going to look really dumb if Hook didn't win, but even if he didn't win, let's just assume Hook didn't win. Even if he didn't win, I saw enough of the match to see this match be treated like 50-50, right? And it's like, you have Brian Cage, who spends hours at the gym to be a wrestler, and you have Hook, who's a Nepo baby, right? And I like Hook, don't get me wrong. I like Hook. Hook's one of my favorite guys in AEW, and has been for a long time. But, like, let's be real. You know? That's why AEW doesn't get ratings. Because you have people like Hook beating people like Brian Cage. And it's like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see, like, the neckbeard fantasy of small guys beating big guys. This is why you get on these, like, videos and people are like, oh, you know, Bradley Martin, who's, like, some bodybuilder. Like, Bradley Martin, he always says all this stuff, but, like, Demetrius Johnson would destroy him. And it's like, of course, Demetrius Johnson would have a good chance because he's a trained fighter and an athlete, but he wouldn't destroy him. Like, let's bring it back to reality. Like, there's girls that I know that are bigger than Demetrius Johnson. Now, obviously, he'd kick all their asses, and he'd kick my ass probably, right? I mean, almost certainly. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm tougher than Demetrius Johnson. But I do have a sizable weight advantage on him. So, like, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm bigger than him. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the idea is, and Bradley Martin's bigger than me. So the idea is, things have to follow a logical thing, a logical format, a logical equation. Because if they don't, we're going to be left with, like, just AEW crybabies telling me how good Will Ospreay is. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. Powerhouse Hobbs would destroy him. You know what I'm saying? So it has to fit that parameter too. And that's why, hearkening back to my other video, there's been no new stars made, cucks. And with that being said, the hater is going to tell you to go fuck yourselves.